went through waiting versus acting now. And a key enabler to that whole process is often your agent and your lender. One, your agent is going to advise you accordingly to the guidelines that you're providing, and then your lender for the financing that you can anticipate that you'll be able to make based on your debt to income ratios and other factors. So, Katie, start us off with this question. How can you tell that an agent has their best interest in you?
You'll know when you know, but really, when you're working with an agent, right? I feel like it's a very personal purchase, right? And it's also like, you want to make sure that the agents are asking you the right questions when you're going and navigating what home you would be interested in buying, right? I think like you'll know like with the number of questions they're asking you, they want to get to the details of, and help you envision yourself in a particular home and help you go and find that home, right? And another thing I would also say, like, I feel like, for me, like, I really like to be friends with my clients, right? I feel like there's such a personal aspect to it, right? Like, I really want to and be like a huge advocate for them to go find like the best property they could possibly find for them, right? And I feel like having that really personal connection, right, is like makes the whole process so much more fun, right? And let alone like you want to kind of envision yourself as the client, right? And so like having that really personal connection and is I don't know, I feel like it's always like the best. Like the clients that you're friends with are like always the best ones to work with, right? And I think it's both ways.
Absolutely. Lasting relationships, because really it's questions are going to come up, and it should be open enough for them to want to reach out to you whenever there's doubt. Even though we might not always have the right answers, but we can always find the person that does. Thank you, Katie. For you, Juan, how can you tell that an agent has their best interest in you?
When determining if an agent has, the best interest in me, if I was, say, the client, I think it goes to show, similar to what Katie was saying, somebody that I'm comfortable speaking with, somebody that I know from right from the get-go, that I'm able to be transparent with them, tell them about, what it is that I'm looking for, what I'm not looking for. So get a little bit more personal. Why is it that I'm looking in specifically for a home, say, with a loft or something with no stairs? Because for whatever reason, this is just an example of a grandma coming in to live with me. They can't go up the stairs as frequently, so I need a place with no stairs. Getting into those little personal details and actually having that agent hear me out and looking for those things is honestly something that would let me know they have the best interest in me. Something else is, they're not pressuring you to purchase every single home or the first home that you see. Because a lot of the times, or at least I haven't seen this personally. I have seen a few rough agents. I'll leave it at that when I've gone to open houses. Um, what's it called? Where they just want to pressure you into buying the home. Like, oh, buy it, buy it. And I think a lot of that comes from, the fact that they are full-time agents and the majority of their salary or their payment comes from just their commission. That's how they survive, right? So you can't really blame them, but at the same time, it makes it a little bit harder to work with because you never know if they have the best interest in mind when you're working with them. And, I say this or I bring this up because honestly, just earlier this week, totally random, I was at my dentist office and I was talking to like the dental assistant there. And I let him know how I have two careers, both in construction and in real estate. And yes, it could be a little bit time consuming from time to time because obviously it's two different careers, obviously both that require a lot of, time and attention. So it's one of those things where I let her know, like, hey, yeah, like I have two things going on, but at the same time, the fact that I do have another career job and I'm not dependent on a commission lets me put myself, the best version of myself and my interest there for my client versus just for a commission. So when I'm going out and helping people, it's more of what is it that you're looking for? Is today a right time? Is it not? You want to push it off another 6 months or another year or another 2 years? Because I have had that happen, and it's like I'm not in a rush. They're not in a rush. So I think that has given my clients like the feeling that I do have the best interest in them. So, the commission for a multi-careered person that has real estate as one of those careers is literally just a cherry on top. So everything else in between is just about helping the person, helping the clients.
That's
Beautiful.
perfect, Juan. You said it so well, right? And I think like the fact that we are multi-career, the fact that we do this like alongside, our day dog construction, whether or not it's like, program management, project management, engineering, right? We are doing real estate because we want to be here, right? Because we have a genuine interest and we want to help people, right? And I think that's like the whole premise of why we're here, why we came together, right? Because, we really are just here, we're not just here for the money, right? We're here to go and help people. We want to kind of go and even build like our own kind of expertise, understanding of this market, understanding of like, real estate as a whole, right? And so there's so much to learn. And, I think one for me, like, in addition to like, knowing the agent is the correct agent to work with, right? Like if you can't get a drink with that person, if you can't go get a coffee or lunch or whatever, like you're not working with the right person, right? So like I think having that level of comfort, having that level of friendship, right, is like so important. And just like being there just to help, right? I think that's like the whole point of why we're here. So
It's a very intimate process, and that's exactly what you've emphasized. Thank you. But it's a great reminder to all of us that it should be that way. It should be um, transparent, and at the same time it should be inviting, and like Juan was saying, where there's no urgency if we have many sources of income. And I get it, you got to eat if you're a full-time agent. So those motives might change, who knows. The one thing I'd like to add is there's different phases to the relationship with a client, right? Before they're even clients, they might be part of your sphere of influence. That relationship might be a little bit different. Once you're working together, the intimacy kicks in where you're getting to know them, you're getting to know their interests, their requirements, what they're looking for, and then adjusting the search criteria accordingly. And then what happens post? This is where I feel most will forget, but I think with this group, it's more about building and sustaining a relationship. So, what are the different things we can do? One example is handwritten notes for the big events, home anniversaries, that time of year where a year later, okay, this is your first year at this home that you made the choice. This is where I see myself as a forever home or the investment property. Other events, birthdays, holidays, that there's different ways to keep in touch. That's where I like to keep in touch, is handwritten notes, where it's a reminder that I'm thinking about them, that if they need any help at any time, that I'm never out of reach. And at the same time, that things like, hey, let's grab a coffee, let's have dinner. Yeah, it's always going to be that way. Um, there's no there's no better way to say thank you than just hear it back over text, over a postcard, over a phone call. And those are the little things that can make a huge impact, because it is a very relationship centric industry.